last conversation. And I just wanted to go out there and talk about one of the sacred cows out there, religion and Christianity. Let me first begin by saying I am a believer into the wonderful story, which I like to label as the Bible itself, and the proponents of what Jesus' life is. But one thing we really need to understand is that the book was still inspired by human beings. And as we can find out in the wonderful story, human beings are flawed, full with sin and different aspects of just bad behavior in general. And the Bible is riddled of different areas of kings and different events that occurred. And their best explanation of the individuals who wrote it was just trying to understand it from their perspective. But as we've seen, and if we look at it from just a logical perspective, realizing that this is human beings and how they interact and try to get an understanding of their existence, we cannot leave out their points of economies. And if you don't, as I mentioned in my last, whoever controls the economy has the most amount of power. So as we saw when Jesus was being crucified, it was done during the Roman time, and crucifixion was one of the primary aspects of how they did for the corporal punishment at the time. And it's ironic that we rarely do we talk about the individuals and the economics that play a part in that. And I'm not here to go into that much detail about that, but just understand, realizing that the Bible itself and Christianity is still taken in an historic context. And just analyzing it from a logical perspective, because you can't really argue faith and belief. And that's where really what my big complication is, and really my big hang up is. Every time I sit forth in the church itself and I hear these individuals going back what we need to do, why we're not doing this, and what God wants, and I'm looking at the precepts of what Jesus' life is, was nothing compared to what the church we have going on today. He walked around and gave his belief to everyone and just shared it. And each individual he talked to, he gave him, since he was the all-knowing, if you choose to believe that again, he had a personal conversation, personal relationship with each one, and discuss things based on what their intentions was and what their heart was and what he can see from that, because no one really knows the heart. But the world that we live in today, with massive amount of churches being built, and as a profession, I mean, one of the precepts in the Bible too is talking about just don't give the word away, don't sell it, but they constantly sell it. And they utilize the Bible as a basis for distinguishing that and justifying it to say. We're also hearing a lot of talk now, and I'm going to digress a little bit about the Mishnah and things that happened in September and October, and trying to predict exactly when events of the coming of Christ. You'll hear a lot of talk about that from a lot of Christian avenues. But I like, it was I think it was a pastor, whatever he stated, he's saying that we have to talk about the Antichrist coming before then. My point about this is that too much time is spent trying to decipher and read the book itself and just not living on faith and faith as a whole. When you take that, if you take faith and the religion of Christianity and you try to mass put this into individuals and force it upon them, you have this situation where we are having that now. You have countless amount of churches, but no one really believes the stuff they've even stated. And if they look at it and analyze themselves and realizing how it's a function of an economy, I mean, this is the best form of fashion of getting your message across, between Christmas and Easter, and you celebrate these things in church. They call Halloween in church service, which is coming up, fall festivals. I mean, this is just, it's a marketing scheme, and it's economics 101, which try to control the masses to believe something and get them to function what is best suited for the economy as a whole. Now, I want to again remind that I do tend to take the belief as of my choosing to want to believe in the wonderful story, and hoping that the precepts of the end, when you're coming in, that I can do nothing to deserve this wonderful gift that he's given us, is just to believe in itself. And that's what my hope is for us, what I teach to my children, to read the story, get an understanding, and have a revelation of how he's talking to you, because he made each of us individually different. And if we understand that, there'd be less focus on religion and the false belief that the Christianity as a whole, in terms of how it's conducted. That's what I mean by false belief in that. How the idea of the belief is being conducted in organized fashion. If you believe something, you act on it. You don't need to be forcing it on anybody. But that's what I believe. That's when I constantly hear in the precepts of, we need to do this, and this is going to hell in a handbasket. If you choose to believe it, you choose to believe it. It's nothing really to debate. You can believe in lima beans and no one would have a conflict with your body. So I just want to say that particular spiel. I went a little long-winded on that, especially because of all the upcoming events and what they're trying to predict and then putting into a religious standpoint. And we really don't know. And the wonderful story I call the Bible, it clearly states out, you don't know the time. Just always be ready. So be ready, but think for your own self. Use the internet as a tool to continue to learn, and realize the platform that we live in is unprecedented times, but that's not always a bad thing. It's a good thing as well. Until next time, talk to you soon. Remember, the internet, utilize the tools of the information age more than just for entertainment, but utilize as a tool for learning and understanding. I'm out.